Hi everyone, today I'm interviewing Marcus from the Empathy Academy. So Marcus, if you'd like to begin by just telling us a little bit about the Academy.
Thank you so much, Lorraine, for inviting me on for an interview. I really appreciate it, first and foremost. Um, the Empathy Academy is a part of Bridge Harmony Mediation's vision, a vision of an empathetic workplace going forwards with key skills such as active listening. Well, someone said to me today, essential, they're not soft skills, they're essential skills. And, I like to just open that door and just realize the importance of how soft skills are and these essential skills that businesses, well, some are missing out on. And, I feel like implementing these is the early interaction of workplace conflict. It's like dealing with it at the start. So it's not a 999 call, Marcus, can you come in and mediate a case? That's the last resort before it goes to tribunal and it all goes sometimes in not a healthy direction where businesses get losing their reputation, suing thousands of pounds. The Empathy Academy is early interaction and it's understanding that you can break the cycle of conflict by understanding what that is. Some of it's just by listening. Some of it's just by having that second just to understand how someone's feeling and just them little check-in points. I've got a few masterclasses as well that are all designed to do just that.
Yeah, so in a way it's kind of prevention's better than cure, and it saves a lot of hassle in the long term, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's a fantastic investment as well. Like the academy is all about, well, you'll know more than anyone else. It's all about love and light. Bringing that love and light back into the workplace and raising the smiles of employees and vibrations and just implementing those key skills of where you can go over to see John or Rachel, Zoe, or I don't know, Marcus. You go over and see Marcus, go, hi Marcus, how you doing? You all right? You look like you've got a lot on your mind today. Or those little really important snippets. And then recognizing the body language as well. 'Cause body language is key. It's 60%, 60+% of what we communicate is totally unspoken. And that's really important to just sit with and think, wow, our communication values are only like 30, 40% spoken. The rest of it's not seen unless you see and recognize them signs of when, let's say, I'll go back to myself, Marcus walks in and he puts his bag on the desk and he's just like, are you all right? Then it's literally seeing that and you're playing to the empathy card. You're using that empathy card just to really open that door. Maybe just knock on the door, or maybe just, you know, approach the door to knock on and say, hey, you all right? I,
Yeah, and I know what you mean. And in addition, especially me working with energy healing, I can even notice vibes, If somebody's had an argument and you go in the room, you can feel the vibes, can't you? Have
yeah,
you ever expressed that?
absolutely. And it's our senses really, like expanding what you said. You can walk into a room or it's family, friends, community, workplace, and go, hang on, what's happened here? And it's everyone has that capability to see, understand, feel, and recognize.
And the
Yeah,
world is changing. And so let me ask you, what is your why?
very, very good question. Very, very good question. Why Bridge Harmony? Why the Empathy Academy? And why any of this whatsoever? Well, it all starts with me. It all starts with me. I'm not going to name the company, but I was working for as a conflict resolution worker, a huge uh, South Welsh company, corporate company, and I started there in May 2024. And what can I say? it was okay when I first started, but then things started to slowly change in a negative way. And I felt like a total lack of no support from the organization. It wasn't until after the 18th incident in 4 months. So I resigned on the 1st of August. It was the Monday, and I was in the office, and an incident happened that was unlawful. It shouldn't have happened. And I got screamed at, and I'm not gonna go into it because yeah, it was nice. So I said, look, I'm gonna leave the office. I spoke to the HR department. I spoke to the people I needed to speak to, with not a lot of positive outcomes coming from that day. Um, Luckily, I had a great network of family and friends. That was an absolute godsend. So I walked into Pembrokeshire Counselling Service in Haverfordwest, and I just said, I need to talk to you, just so I'm not going crazy. I explained these list of issues to her. What an absolute blessing she was. And the first one was for free, so I thought we're on a winner. Uh, and she was like, Marcus, you do know that kind of behavior is not okay. And I was like, yeah, but I'm used to looking after high crisis, um, kids, CSE, county lines. I've done that for 3 years. She went, that's okay. You're in South Wales, Halford West. There's not really a crime rate. There's not really a lot going on. You're in an office. It's private, it's secure. You're up here, and everything that's happened is that's absolutely not okay. I think it was then, Lorraine, that the penny dropped, and I was like, right, okay. So I walked back into the office to be met with a very unapologetic apology, and I decided I'm not going to return to that office until issues are sorted. Then resigned on the 1st of August after my emails being hacked, and yeah, I said, look, that's me. I'm done. Moved to Newcastle for a week and a half sabbatical. I call it a little week and a half sabbatical. And luckily, Tyneside and Newcastle has beautiful bridges. It does. So I thought, imagine if there's a workplace where there was a solid bridge and conflict could meet in the middle, and conflict could just, people could meet in the middle of that bridge, shake hands, and the water be underneath being the conflict. I think it's so much easier. And if there's like a third party version as well, and I thought workplace mediation, fantastic. And then that was my why. So my why, so no one goes to work feeling like Marcus felt. Because if I didn't go to the gym at night, I'd have cried myself to sleep. I'd have cried myself to sleep. I'd have been like, I can't do this. And all the rest of the isolation. And I didn't want to tell my mum because I'm 31 at the time, just moved out properly. Moved all my stuff 5.5 hours away, South Wales, and as far as she was concerned, I was doing well, and that was the be all and end all. It was like, so luckily I had a friend in Newcastle I moved to, and he and his wife looked after us, and I braved the conversation to say to my mum, right, this is what's happened. But then I came back home, set Bridge Harmony mediation up on the 19th of August, and thought, right, this is what I'm going to run with. I'm trained, I'm qualified, now accredited in workplace mediation. And then I had my grievance hearing, which was, in my view, the biggest, beautifulest thing I've ever seen in my life. At the time, I had a solicitor and a union rep, and it just wasn't me. It just wasn't me to hold on to all this stuff. And I just thought, well, do you know what? I'm going to cancel you, and go in with love and light. And from there, the opening was, right, Marcus, where's your solicitor and where's your union rep? I says, hey, doesn't matter. I'm here. Bridge and mediation is the answer. He was like, so you don't want anyone sacked or fired? Or I was like, no, 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 no. Bridge Germany is now set up on the foundation, so no one should feel like I felt at work. So they can have someone to talk to. They can have a door that they can talk, go into a safe and neutral space and sort the issues out. Because what I needed the most. I needed it the most. So a beacon of light, bridge and mediation is. I moved into thinking, right, there's something more to this for an early interaction, and that's where the Empathy Academy came from, Lorraine. And I tell you what, it's absolutely beautiful. We've got active listening masterclass with 3 core activities on active listening for teams that they can do in the workplace. So, for example, one of them is a practice of where for 10 minutes you just listen to the party, the other person that you're working with, just noting any emotions or any feelings or anything that stands out from that person. It's training the brain neurologically in active listening. And then they switch for another 10 minutes. That other person tells how they feel. And I've got another one. So that's one of three activities in the masterclass. Brilliant. The second one's a miscommunication. I've got one empowering emotions. Now, this is brilliant. It's about body language. It's about how to do a check-in with someone. A check-in would be an approach where you can see someone might not be in a good place and just being gentle to check in, to go over and just ask, you all right? Might be the most subtle thing in the world, but that person might feel it 10x. They might think, do you know what? I'm glad someone just checked on me. I've got three other masterclasses by diversity and equality, promoting mental health at work, and I always forget the last one. Diversity, equality. I've got it on. You know what? I've got it on a list. I can't believe I've caught. It's always I always forget that last one. I don't know what it is. Hang on here. Promoting miscommunication at work, active listening, diversity and equality, mindfulness and meditation. I teach an absolutely fantastic mindfulness and meditation class that I learned when I was in India, which is another story for another day. That is my why. And again, meeting you at the Empowerment Masterclass was great as well. So that is, I hope I've answered that question to my strongest capability, which we're just going with the
Yeah,
flow, really, are we? Yeah.
yeah. That was a really good masterclass as well, the empowerment, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just good to see this type of work is just really flowing and spreading, and a lot more interest in mindfulness as well. Even I have a friend who works for a very big company and they do mindfulness now, and 10, 20 years ago it wasn't really the thing, whereas now people are changing, the world is changing, and
Thanks
people
for
are
that.
finally. So who would you say some of your heroes are, some of your spiritual influences are?
Oh yeah, my we just literally Martin Luther King. I think what he stood for was absolutely fantastic. He led the civil rights movement. He organized non-violent protests. Um, he's went on the bus boycott as well. He delivered the "I Have a Dream" speech, which relates to, well, equality and openness and just everyone just getting along and just being equal. I absolutely love it. Again, he spoke against the veteran war and poverty. He's the guy. He's the guy. Yeah. Another one of my spiritual influences. Well, I love Tony Robbins. I think some of the work that Tony Robbins has come out with in the last 10, 20 years has been absolutely astronomical. He's changed people's life around for the better and implemented like some of the best professionals around the world to work with individuals to really transform their trauma into the most empowering superpower that that person can have and cradle with and really embrace their true self to um, help others far wide and beyond. Um, they would be my two that I can think of straight off the top of my head that I do see myself being similar to because I want to do it in my own unique, blossomy, flowery way. Like, however it blossoms, you go in this direction of the flow, right?
Go with the flow, and that's how things flow more easily if you just don't try and swim against the tide, just go
Yeah.
with it.
Oh,
And see
that's
the influence of Tony Robbins as well. And it's funny you say that. I'm doing some training in June with one of his people, Jim Francis.
ah,
So
fantastic.
world. So yeah.
There's your synchronicity of the day.
It
Amazing.
is. And so whereabouts in the world do you work then?
I work in Greater Manchester. I will cover far and wide online. I will travel to London, Birmingham, Edinburgh, Glasgow. If there's something that needs doing, I can make sure we can accommodate for whatever that need is. I would love nothing more than the Empathy Academy to blossom over the next course of 12 months and change so many people's businesses into a better place of well-being, safety, and having that space of total, oh, I'm at work now, like a little work family, and just not work family per se, but I've been in that environment of where you can just take off the heavy baggage and then flow at the best and more strong yourself. And it's just creating that environment, changing cultures and developing teams to just see we are human, we are here for each other, we are in a team. There's no eyes, there's us, bringing that straight forward to as many people as possible. That's the dream. Yeah.
Great. And keep up the good work. And what's your
Yeah.
website? Pop it
My
below.
Yeah, my website is www.bridgeharmony.co.uk. That's www.bridgeharmony.co.uk.
Great. Well, thanks very much. Any final thoughts before we finish?
Lastly, again, I just want to say my utmost gratitude to you, Lorraine, for this opportunity to share across your channels and socials. I'm more than happy to do the same. That'd be brilliant. You can grab us on LinkedIn as Marcus Farrey if you want to connect and see how we can develop any projects that you may have coming forward. We've got Bridge Jam and Mediation on LinkedIn. The Empathy Academy is on the LinkedIn profile as well. Social media, Facebook. I don't do much on Instagram. We have got a TikTok. I'm trying to do a bit on that, trying to get down with the TikTok people and just trying to yeah, put as much love and light out as we can do. Yeah. That's it. That's it.
Thanks a lot. It's great to speak to you again. So we'll have another catch up later on as things change. So great.
Thank you so much, Elaine. Really appreciate it.
Great.